Shalom, this is Mary Omni from the World Government House of King David, Holy Covenant Constitutional Enforcer. This is a Republic Notice. The title of this Republic Notice is called Thieves Projecting Guilt on American Blacks. Thieves Projecting Guilt on American Blacks. In the last 50 years, ever since President Kennedy's head was blown off, it's been a very diabolical arrogance going on in this country. You know, since the death of Kennedy, Dr. King, and Malcolm X, this country hasn't had no real holy water thrown on it in enough spiritual solvency and authority to quelch some of their satanic arrogance. Now, their satanic arrogance come from dark principalities in high places. Like King Jesus said, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but we wrestle against dark principalities in high places of spirits. And these spirits have had a way to do telepathic control and mind control, on the larger society to attack Black Americans who hold the constitutional contract as the wealth holders of America. And everybody went with one consent that American blacks was their piss outlet to persecute by their one consent. So they all got into this one consent to try to make blacks think that they wasn't a constitutional nation. So all these thieves that came after 1871, after the establishment of the Constitutionality, and even some thieves before 1871, those who volunteered to come here that no one brought in chains, they are the thieves of those who were brought in chains and forced to work under involuntary standards 300 to 400 years without a paycheck. So everybody came to benefit from that. In the last 50 years, their generations and generations decided that in one consent, that as thieves that have no constitutionality, because there's only one constitutional citizen, and there's Black Americans. Now, we have citizens of several states who have the protection of the Constitution, but they're not constitutional citizens. One of them is President Obama. He is a citizen of several states. He's not an alien. He's not a foreigner. He is a citizen. He is a citizen of the state in which he resides. He is protected because his wife is constitutional American, a national constitutional American citizen, and their blood is one through their children, which means that he has become merged with the holy blood of the Constitution, with the protection of the constitutional nationality as a citizen of several states. They're called Ephraim. There are our Ephraim brothers and sisters. They're holy inheritors along with us. Now, these thieves projected guilt on American blacks is everybody from whenever you go into any of these stores, whether it's Walmarts, whether it's stores in Black neighborhoods, they tend to give you the side eye, follow you around, have cops and guards harass you, check your bags, look at this bag, look at that bag, want to check your bags before you go in, want to check your bags before you go out. Just pure violation of Fourth Amendment constitutional rights, because don't buy this confetti BS that the Constitution is done away with. That's only for the MK Ultra. See, whites think that everything revolves around them. So if they start feeling that their privileges are being taken away, they say, oh, the Constitution is being destroyed just because they lost their fart and their gas privilege, because a lot of them just have privileges on fart and gas. They have no rights. They just got fart and gas of Satan, hold them up in a fart realm in this country, pretending constitutionality. They fought the republic with everything they got. See, they're the thieves that projected, guilt on black Americans because they were such in the front line in mass stealing. And so now they talk about foreign troops, but they came in as foreign troops and put on blue uniforms as cops 100 years ago. 90 and 80 and 100 years ago, they put on blue uniforms as cops, but they nothing but was foreign soldiers declaring Posse comitatus on blacks. See, the Posse comitatus have been declared on blacks by thieves projecting their guilt on blacks, trying to oppress blacks so they can steal freely. And they didn't call, when the Catholic Church brought in all these Italians and all these Irish immigrants who didn't put on a blue uniform, they didn't call them foreign troops then, because they was only hitting blacks and harassing blacks and killing blacks. See, as long as blacks was killed, they wasn't foreign soldiers. It's only when they stopping whites they become foreign soldiers. But these people came way after 1871, and they came in projecting guilt, and they projected a Posse comitatus on blacks. See, they wanted to do away with the law of Posse comitatus in 1878 because they wanted to have a full throttle to rape black wealth. They can't change the constitutional contract, but they wanted to oppress and rape and pillage and steal and thieve and invite the whole world thieves, whether they Chinese, Hispanics, whites, Europeans, African, other Israelites. Everyone had a chance to thieve and then project their thiefhood guilt on blacks by acting like blacks was the biggest thieves of their own wealth. If they got the supreme contract, they can't really be charged with armed robbery of their own wealth now, can they? All they can do is be hate gassed by foreigners and outsiders into dungeons. So all they got is the law of hate gas. Hate gas has been their law, and they have used hate gas as thieves projecting their hate gas guilt on American blacks who hold all the wealth and can't steal from themselves, can't be charged with armed robbery, can't be charged with stealing anything out of any store because everything in that store is owned by the supreme contractual blacks. And everything in any Hispanic store, any Chinese store, any Walmarts, any Costco's, any store on this soil don't have no higher contract than black Americans. If they do, prove it. Prove you got a higher contract than black Americans. Besides your hate gas and your satanic father making a gas ream for you to ride through in dark principalities and high places. So all this surveillance and all this stuff stem from this. All this surveillance and all the evil now stemmed from whites supporting it as long and as it was projected on blacks. All the immigrants, white, yellow, all the early immigrants said project this guilt on black Americans, that they worked 400 years, but they don't own nothing. And we got a right to steal all their labor and wealth for 400 years. And if they get a crumb, we got to project guilt on them to win this war so we can steal and rape all their wealth and pretend it was just for us, just because we traveled through the fart of Satan, because the Satan gas held us up. And we had the principalities in high places giving us the arrogance and the confidence to go against the blood of King Yeshua and think we can overcome his Jerusalem cosmic wall and blood and somehow mangle the contract. The contract can't be mangled. It's Fort Knox. It's Fort Knox in the cosmic gold, monatomic gold and platinum. You can't mangle the contract. All you can do is have a ride in hate gas and delusion and pretend. And now you're getting mad because your hate gas is starting to bumble up and explode upon you. So while you out here making love with your Satan hate gas, who's making love to your old lady? on your land? Who's making love to your old lady on your Hispanics in Puerto Rico, in Philippines, in Africa, in all your lands is being made love to by the globalists. And they making harsh and vindictive, love of raping your women and your wealth because the land is considered a female. So while you here on American land calling yourself being thieves, riding and making love to Satan fart gas without a contract whatsoever, they all in your land taking everything you got and taking and raping your woman and your land. And then you blaming blacks for anything is you then again as thieves projecting. See, because Constitution is the free, the land of the free. So we can't have no guilt for anything. We are the blameless. We are the blameless. The only one that can hold President Obama accountable is the royal court of King David. He's part of the blameless. Him and Michelle Obama is part of the blameless. And they are debt free. They are debt free. They can't be blamed for any debt in this country. Only thieves that don't have no contract of supreme authority of automation can be blamed. No debt is in the White House for once in 100 years. 100 years, we got a debt-free White House. And a lot of these thieves are projecting the guilt, and they want to get rid of this debt-free heirs in the White House because they want that nasty-ass hate gas guilt up in there with all this worldly debt and abominations of desolation. They try to act like they're more intelligent, but they all filled with debt and dung and no contract. So how can they be more intelligent when they filled with debt and dung and no contract? They're the debt, dung, thieves of abominations. Obama can't do none of that level of atrocity that they have on their hands. They got blood, dung, guilt all mixed up with debt. And they can't come nowhere near that White House again. You projected thieves, your hate gas is losing its power. See, their satanic gas they wanted to ride in the trade winds is starting to backfire. Satan is starting to dump all his pissy licks on them. Satan is starting to fart on them. Satan is starting to think about his soul collection now. He done propped them up and plumped them up in every kind of privilege on his hate gas without a contract. And so now he's ready to collect. And so he's farting on their face. He's farting on their fake Americanism. He's farting on their stolen so-called homes and cars and jobs. He's farting on their so-called families. He's going to make sure they all turned against each other because you know what? God Almighty done put down the sword, and the justice must now come where you sow, where you reap what you have sown. And you have sown the hate gas of Satan, and it's time for the harvest, Jack. The wheat and the tares are now being harvested. This is Mary Omni from the House of King David. Shalom.